Welcome back to the morning show. It is 6:50 this Wednesday. Wise Guy time. We're throwing a little curveball today. Our very own Matt Sellen. He's a celebrity now, even more so than from being on our air. You're a lawn ranger from Amazing Arcola, right?
I know. Well, that's the biggest honor that I've ever had, to be honest with you. It's very few are chosen, and, you know, that's an amazing organization. So it's fantastic.
And I heard the day after the inauguration, Lawn Ranger was the most often site searched on Google.
It was. And, in fact, there was a story in the Chicago Tribune about that time where they featured a picture that we took a few years ago, and then just yesterday, I think it was, it showed up that was the most searched on article in the Trib, you know, last week during the inauguration.
Wow. Yep.
It's kind of a silly thing, you know, so people like that. It's a little fun, and but at the same time, it requires a whole lot of skill. I don't know if you know anything about it. But,
a little bit.
Well, it's if you want to think about what it is, think about the Blue Angels. You know, think about high precision, dangerous maneuvers.
Right.
And then sort of forget all that and think lawnmowers and think a bunch of guys pushing lawnmowers and doing really very skilled maneuvers and tossing brooms back and forth, and that's the Lawn Rangers.
It's pretty sweet. And you, of course, were part of the trip and the parade and the inauguration. We've got a slideshow of pictures. We're just going to hit play, and you can talk us through what we're checking out.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the monument, you patterned your mower after.
That's right. It's hard to tell whether that's my mower or the actual monument, but I think it's probably the monument because there's people standing around it.
Yeah.
And so what you can see here is actually we assembled at the Pentagon that morning pretty early to get ready for the parade. They had their security screening.
Of course, our system has to buffer.
Of course it does. And so then we had a police escort for our yellow school bus, which took us all down to downtown where the parade sort of assembled. And so you can see right here, we drove by all the folks who were standing around the Washington Monument. I assume there was probably millions of them. It was fantastic.
There were a few.
And there was a lot of, the streets downtown were completely closed off. And what we saw more than anything actually were a lot of security, lots of police and Secret Service, and people making sure that there was no trouble, and there was no trouble whatsoever. It was a really, really cold day, and so when we were in the bus here, this was pretty early. This was right at noon when they were doing the inauguration swearing-in ceremony and all that stuff, and so that was kind of exciting to hear. And we had a radio going on the bus.
Oh, there's a video.
Yeah, you don't want to probably watch that. I have no idea how this thing works.
Okay.
And so if you, but the people were huddled around the radio on the bus, and we listened to the swearing in, and it was pretty exciting.
Right.
And if you can advance a little bit, you'll get to the point where, there we go.
There you go.
You can start the thing
there. There's some mowers.
Here are some of our fine mowers. You can see, I believe that's probably the helicopter with President Bush leaving in it, because that was right after the swearing in.
Okay,
so I got the picture. And so they had cordoned off a big area of downtown, and of course that was one of the key things was having to make little breaks. There was this is all our mowers. You'll see we're kind of assembling, and at this point we think the parade's going to start pretty soon.
There's your mower. Cool.
There's my mower. That's our security Army sergeant who was with us the whole time to make sure that we behaved, and basically, we thought we were going to start in a minute, and we started 4 hours later. And
my goodness.
It was a pretty cold day, and so by the time we started, and our feet were a little chilly, but it was all worth it. And if we ever get to it, that's kind of a funny one.
Yeah, there you go. There's the,
there's the picture
and
there we go. There's our beaver mowers, and so all these were pushed by different guys in the parade and the different rangers.
Very cool. Well, you know what, Matt? We're running out of time. We're going to stop it right there, and we'll resume in 30 minutes from there, and we'll hear more about your trip.
Okie dokie.
All right. We'll put this on web if you want to check it out later. Right now, we need to check in with Jennifer.